Hello everyone. This was a good week of chapters, with most of the stories having more intense moments, as a lot of these chapters are starting to reach their peak, if that makes sense. I know I've said it several times, but at this point you could start really feeling like a lot of the stories are really starting to hit their groove. And at this point, that's what's happening here with all of the chapters. So we'll see if I end up being right or if there's another intense point where the chapters feel like they're peaking. So we're starting off first with One Piece, chapter 1039, and this was a good chapter with the Kid Law Big Mom battle coming to a close. Much to, I think, everyone's surprise is that Law and Kid won, and pretty decisively, though I don't believe, like most other people at this point, that Big Mom is done for this story. I believe what will happen as Law opened a giant hole in the bottom of Onigashima, and then Kid blasted Big Mom with his giant super rail gun. What I assume is going to happen is that she's going to break through the bottom of the island. She'll fall from there onto the ground and survive just as Kaido did when he fell from a sky island. Seeing as how she was still relatively unfazed even after all of the hits from both Law and Kid, she's downright invincible, but for the most part, she'll be done for this fight and she'll be out of this arc. She'll end up landing, getting back up, seeing the island fall, and see that there's no point continuing. She'll probably see her crew and they will leave. Kaido will then now only have himself and his crew, which are basically at death's door themselves. And the final piece of this whole entire arc is everyone watching Luffy and Kaido go one-on-one, like everyone's around the area as they continue to fight, and then it's witnessed by everyone, crew of every manner of people, and samurai, as they see that Luffy is able to take down Kaido. What'll happen with Big Mom is she'll leave, go back to Whole Cake like I said last week, and the things will be in shambles. But this week was very much more leading to that outcome. Also with Yamato being able to throw the bombs down the hole that was made by Law, and so the island's gonna crumble very soon. They'll all fall. The strong ones will survive. Those who are on death's door are pretty much dead, and then a few battles will remain up until everyone will watch Luffy win. That's what I'm kind of getting from where this is going, which I think is interesting, as before with Katakuri, no one saw that victory. Now this time with Kaido, everyone's gonna see that victory. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a A. It was very good getting to see the continuation and finale of the Law, Kid, and Big Mom battle was very fun. Seeing little tidbits of everyone else still fighting the way they are, struggling and doing the best they can, but seeing mostly the bulk of that battle come to a close was good. And I think Law and Kid came out looking very strong from it, and I think they are contenders for the One Piece whenever they get to Raftel. Now, is that immediately next? No, and if anything, the only Yonko that probably won't make it to Raftel is Kaido at this point, if I had to guess. Because I imagine Big Mom will retreat, and things will continue to fall infinitely and spiraling worse for her, and she'll have one person to blame, and one person alone, and that's Luffy. So their next confrontation should be quite a ways away, but I think it'll be a very satisfying one when Luffy goes one-on-one with Big Mom, probably in a very later point in time. But for now, Kid and Law got their big win, as they were able to at least defeat a Yonko together. Now we're on to Black Clover, chapter 322, and this was a very good chapter, with Lucifero continuing his dominance over everyone, but Marioliana and Yuno were able to hold him off for quite a while, up until Marioliana ran out of mana and Yuno really wasn't going to be able to hold on his own against Lucifero. We also learned the name of the other Supreme Devil character, or the other Major Devil, which is a Dramelech, I'm going to go with their final answer. But he refused, which was great, just because it shows how uncoordinated and unhelpful all of the demons are to each other, all the devils. And so Lucifero continues his rampage, beating everyone and eventually looking like he's about to get what he wants, which is to kill Asta. However, Noct jumps into the way and is about to be killed himself. However, just as one could always assume, Yami is around the corner and saves Noct's life. It was very good to see Yami back, standing up for his crew with seemingly a new sword made from Vengeance's world tree. Will he be of any real help? Probably not. The way this is going, there's no way they're going to win. However, seeing Yami, despite being nearly killed about 12 times now, still standing up and stopping the fight, it's very good. Though the big thing for me is I can see him not making it out of this arc and dying here as a very large moment for the series, spurring on pretty much everyone. It's exciting, I'll say that much. There's some exciting prospects, and the next few chapters should be extremely exciting. As all the captains are down, Yami's pretty much the only one left, and Asta is going to watch him potentially die here, which is something that I would not have expected, seeing as how the way it was going, I wouldn't have seen it coming, but now it looks very much right there. Though I will say, I would not be surprised if somehow they won now, as they tag teamed again, Yami and Asta, and won by some miracle. That would be the wrong decision. That's a fact. However, I could see it happen. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was still more of the same, which isn't a bad thing. It's a very good chapter. But I think next week has bigger potential for something more interesting to happen. And this week was just more of Lucifero's dominance, which is always excellent. However, I don't think it would get a grade up, if that makes any sense. Nothing super mind-blowing happened here outside of Yami's last minute save, which again next week could be a much bigger moment as we see whatever happens next. So now we're on to Undead Unluck Chapter 97, and this was a good chapter with the rules of the universe continuing to mess with the Union, as after Andy heals up and it looks like they're all hopeful with being able to save Fuko, as she's still in her kind of physical-ish form despite being a soul, meaning she's still clinging to life. She's not quite dead yet. There's still hope to save her, and that was the plan up until Apocalypse revealed that, well, with all the things they've done, it's thrown the balance of the earth out of whack, and now it's plummeting towards the sun. And it seems as though Ragnarok is upon them, and now things are very much in the end game, where now they might have to go fight God to try to reverse whatever they have to. However, if I were to guess, if I were to make a bold for the 15th time claim, I think what they end up doing is saving Fuko, giving her the arc, and having her go back. Joise has already said that she couldn't, I think, with her agreeing with the moon to push Andy and Fuko forward in time. I think she can't go back anymore. And again, they've said that the arc only has one more travel in it. So what they're going to probably do is save Fuko and send her to the next loop, fully ready and prepared, and have it that some of the immortal ones, remember Andy, for example, and so on. However, it looks like Ruin, that was his whole plan, was to destroy everything except for those who can't die and continue to live in the loops. So now we have, again, a complete total difference between Andy and Ruin, and they continue to be very much each other's opposites. Their complete antithesis. Because, ironically enough, Ruin also seemingly has an Uma that can change into clothing for him, which I thought was very funny. Or change into different things. It was the Uma blood, if I remember what it was. And so, it is very interesting to see where this arc, where the whole story is going to go next. Because with Ragnarok upon them, and Apocalypse continuously destroying whatever they can to make things so much harder for everyone, it looks like things are finally going wrong for the entire crew. So their next bit of decision making is what's going to be the most interesting parts about this story, to see what they do next. If they just start preparing for God, I don't see them winning, and I just wonder what'll happen next. And or if they go get Fuko back and just ascend her into the next loop because they've run out of time, that would be interesting. Or if they just get her back and then we jump right into the fighting God portion of the program. Either way, there's some interesting avenues this story can take from here. So overall, I'm going to give this chapter a B. It was good, and the shock reveal that things are speeding up much faster was very enjoyable. It was a nice twist that I did not exactly see coming. And like I said, what happens next is what's most intriguing about this whole thing, as things can go south or it could look bright for the heroes of this story. For now though, things are not looking good. So now we're on to Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 95. And this was a good chapter with Mash and Demina continuing their fight, as well as we learn more about new magic, which is thirds, which only a handful of even the most powerful mages can use, and it turns out that Demina can use said spell. Now, I'm surprised that this wasn't revealed when it was Innocent Zero and Wahlberg, I think it's Wahlberg, the headmaster, fought. However, I imagine if they did use it, the whole world would just completely collapse. Or maybe they even did, but we didn't know it yet. I don't know. But for now, Demina is able to use it, and it pushes Mash into a corner. The battle continues to go in Demina's favor, and even Mash starts to get really beaten up. But because it's Mash, he somehow was actually holding back this entire time, and that his dad told him to never use this power, except now he has to. And I can only imagine what level of broken ability he has hidden away inside of his muscle magic that'll make him even more overpowered. It's ridiculous. So this arc continues to be very ridiculous and entertaining just between this battle alone. And Demina showed that he's very powerful as well. However, Mash is going to win. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good. It was very entertaining to see this fight continue, and to even see Mash be on the defensive, having to really eat hits, and was losing for a portion of time. But now he will end up winning in the end again after he uses whatever new power he has, and things will go back to its regularly scheduled program. Now we're on to Sakamoto Days, chapter 57, and this was a good chapter, showing more of Sakamoto and Shin trying to get into the JCC. Apparently, the exam began on the plane after one of the other characters tried to bully Sakamoto, but it didn't work. We end up seeing him get killed, which was actually rather interesting, that we saw him get a bad weapon because weapons dropped from the top of the airplane, and everyone began fighting to try to find JCC or JAA administrators to get golden bullets. And so people started to kill each other to try to find these golden bullets. The one bully character gets killed by the flight attendant who seemingly holds all of the bullets, and that was just a lie that they had to discern. So we'll see who actually figures that out in the end. But for now, everyone's fighting and battling. Shen even's getting into the fray and doing very well for himself, showing that he is very skilled, however, just not skilled enough to go against the opponents, of which Sakamoto is going to be versing with Slur and co. We get to see more of that other character that got spotlighted and is seemingly a rookie assassin who, again, will be most likely protected by Sakamoto in the end. Sakamoto himself, his weapon was a pen, and he beat someone down with it very quickly, and everyone who more or less was a character watching was stunned by Sakamoto's performance with a pen, except for Shin. He smiled. He was glad that Sakamoto can show off, and now, like I said, I imagine Sakamoto will protect this other wannabe assassin, and like I said, she'll probably end up joining the crew, or they will. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter a B. It was good. It was fun seeing that the beginning of this. It was fun seeing the beginning of the exam and seeing how they all will do. I imagine there'll be several exams and we'll see it progress, getting to learn some of these other characters and see how Sakamoto handles these situations, as well as Shin, and see if any more character development / building happens during this arc. But for now, it's very entertaining, and I don't really know where it's going to go. Eventually, the end goal is to get the information on Slur, but for now, we get ridiculous exam arc, which is always fun. So that was all of the major chapters. They were all very good. They were all very entertaining, with most of them having intense swerve moments, from One Piece having a major villain be defeated, where Black Clover had a major hero return. Undead Unluck had a major situation swerve, with Apocalypse reversing everything and having it that the final arc, quote unquote, is very fast approaching. We then had Mashle unveiling new powers and Sakamoto nearly killing someone with a ballpoint pen. Now we're on to the other chapters of this week, with Dr. Stone, with the reveal of who the Y-Man is. Personally, I was slightly underwhelmed, though I did understand what was going on. I wonder what the response to it really was, because we got the info and I was underwhelmed. So I wonder what everyone else thought about who the Y-Man was. Jujutsu Kaisen continued to be good. Rare My Hero thoughts. The chapter was fine. It was good. It's ending soon, and I'm curious to see how this whole story ends. The Elusive Samurai was entertaining to see all sorts of the shenanigans going on there. Yazakura family was more character building, eventually leading to a plot point that would push more for the plot. So now there's something there for that, but it was just very cute, as they almost always are. P×6 was good, though it still feels like the story's rushing to places, but yet not sacrificing too much. So I'm curious to see how it goes, because it looks like things are about to hit a very serious wall, and I'm curious to see what happens. Blue Box was fine. Ashimon was good, as the main heroes were able to find resolve, and it looks like they're going to start to try to gear up for more heavy battles quickly, which is good. And Doron was good, as it looks like the major villain of the story, quote unquote, was revealed, and we got to see another very powerful character arrive to more or less save the day for now. I would like to see this story continue, but I'm hesitant to think that it will. But for now, at least, it doesn't look like they rushed to the end as much as I thought they did. So it'll be very interesting to see where it goes from here. So that was now all of the chapters. I thought they were all very good, and this was a good week as a whole. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and as always, thank you for watching.